really seriously, and you need to find ways to get feedback from people who know what they're doing. And that might mean going to a workshop that's being taught by a successful writer whose style you admire. Or if you can't afford that, then it means you create your own workshop by you take a great novel and you read it and you break it down yourself and you ask yourself on every line, how did they do that? How did they do that? How did they do that? And if you really want it, that's what it takes. And if you're willing to do it, but, you can't use not having money as an excuse, because every library is loaded with more excellent books than you will ever have time to read in your lifetime. And if you just start reading them, not just for entertainment, but read them like a writer, read them like a scientist, and break them down and say, what did this author do? Like, oh, I like that. How did they do that? How did they get that chunk of text to read like that? And you start breaking it down, you'll figure it out. But it's a level of commitment that I think most people don't have. But that's what it takes. And if you're willing to do it, I absolutely bless you and wish you all the best, because only the best writers are willing to do that. And I'll just add one last thing: is all the greatest writers have one thing in common, and this is something that baffles me, why people think they can skip this part. The best writers are the best readers. All the great writers read, and they don't spend a lot of time reading like Twilight series, okay? I'll just come out and say it. It's crappy writing. Okay, and 50 Shades of Grey. Like, those are not well-written books. I mean, they sold well, fine. And if that's the kind of writing you want to do, fine. But I'm talking about if you really want to perfect the craft, you've got to go read the classics. You've got to read the Margaret Atwoods and the Virginia Woolf and the D.H. Lawrence and the, it goes on and on. Read Dostoevsky, read Chekhov, read the greats, and then read them as a technician.
Yeah, I mean, it's not refreshing to hear. It's not nice and dandy to hear. It's really inspiring to hear, because everybody wants to be good at whatever it is that they do, and everybody wants to work hard and do it right. It's just, I think it's obviously there's a lot of people taking shortcuts. Obviously, that's one of the themes throughout this entire presentation. 7 authors in 7 days have all said the same general thing, which is, it takes a lot of hard work. You have to be really serious about it. You have to invest a lot of time and money into it to really make everything work. And if you do that, you take a lot of the chance out of the game, and you can be successful doing this.
Yeah, I mean, look, writing a great book and having a bestseller is not the same as winning the lottery.
Not the same.
Okay?
Yeah.
And if that's what you really want, like people send me manuscripts and they're like, "Oh, I'm going to sell 100,000 copies and I'm going to be a bestseller, and read it and tell me what you think." And I look at the first few pages or whatever, and I can tell you right away that's never going to happen.
Yeah.
And I can also tell that they didn't put much work into it. And some of them, I even have wondered if they've ever read a novel. I've had people say, I'm thinking, have you ever read anything? Because some of the stuff, it's like, how could you even do that if you've read anything? So, I know this might sound harsh, but this is exactly what agents are thinking.
Yeah, I'm just picturing in my mind, like a bad American Idol edition, and how many.
You know what? I'm so glad you said that, because here's something I've noticed about American Idol contestants: the ones that think they're awesome because they've been singing in their living room and with the headphones on, and they think they sound amazing when they're singing with Beyonce, playing in their ears. Those are always the worst singers. And the ones that are more humble because they've worked, they're always the ones saying, "Oh, well, I really hope you like this. You know, I hope this is good." You know,
Yeah.
and then they open their mouth, and you're like, "Holy crap! Like this person's amazing." Right? And I think it's because the people who are really good have a respect for what it takes to be good, and so they often don't realize how good they are because they're just focused on doing the work.